If tomorrow you woke up and your best friends were all replaced with strangers, would you still be you? Years ago, I came across this quote that said, "One day you'll look back and not recognize yourself. At the time, it didn't mean much to me. But today, it's one of my greatest fears." When we first meet someone, they have an impression of us, and we have an impression of them. We make judgments about each other. And over time, if we maintain that relationship, our impressions of them slowly change and evolve. Our perception of who they are and who we are is constantly shifting. Recently, I came across a study that showed how our own self-perception changes every 7 years. The way we see ourselves at 20 isn't the same way we see ourselves at 30, which isn't the same way we see ourselves at 40. Researchers asked thousands of people aged 19 to 94 to describe themselves in 100 words. They found that there are 7 distinct ways we characterize ourselves across our lifespan. These are the traits that define who we are at different ages. At 19, we tend to describe ourselves based on our social roles, like being a student or a musician, or how we want to be perceived by others, like being cool or popular. At 26, we describe ourselves based on our personal qualities. We focus more on our unique traits and characteristics. So instead of saying, "I'm a teacher," we might say, "I'm passionate, I'm creative, I'm ambitious." Then at 33, we shift to describing our accomplishments and status. So we might say things like, "I'm a successful entrepreneur. I've published 3 books." And then at 40, we start focusing on our family and relationships. "I'm a husband. I'm a father." At 49, we tend to describe ourselves in terms of our life satisfaction and happiness. We might say things like, "I'm content. I'm fulfilled." And at 64, we begin to focus on our legacy and what we've accomplished in life. Finally, at 75, when most people are retired, they tend to use words like old and retired. There's a sense of acceptance. So according to this research, who we are is completely defined by the stage of life that we're in. But what happens when we go through a major transition? What happens when we lose our identity? In 2017, a wildfire ripped through Santa Rosa, California. Thousands of homes were destroyed and 5,000 people were displaced. A year later, researchers wanted to understand the psychological impact of the fire on the survivors. They found that those who lost their homes experienced symptoms similar to grief, even though they never lost a person. They felt a deep sense of loss, sadness, and loneliness. In fact, the grieving process was almost identical to the 5 stages of grief. This suggests that our attachment to objects can be just as strong as our attachment to people. The home is more than just a building. It holds memories. It's a reflection of who we are. It represents our identity. When that's taken away, it can be devastating. The question is, when we lose our identity, what part of us stays real? Who we are is not defined by our looks, our job, our status, our relationships, our possessions, our home. If these things change, who remains constant? When you meet someone for the first time, you don't know anything about them. You don't know their social media passwords. You haven't seen their private text messages. You haven't heard their deepest fears and desires. You don't know the things they'd be ashamed of if you told everyone. You don't know their love language. You haven't seen them sick or struggling. You haven't seen them at their best or worst. So you can't really know them, but you can get to know them better over time. because there are some universal things about humans that remain constant. Things like if you treat them with respect, they will treat you with respect. If you show kindness, they will show kindness. If you make them laugh, they will make you laugh. If you help them, they will help you. If you trust them, they will trust you. If you let them down, they will let you down. If you break their heart, they will break yours. If you push them, they will push you. If you inspire them, they will inspire you. So it doesn't matter if we change, if we grow, if we become someone new, these things will always remain constant. What does that tell us? It tells us that we should surround ourselves with people who bring out the best in us, who inspire us, who challenge us to become better versions of ourselves. These people are our true friends. They're the ones who stick around when we change, when we grow, when we become someone new. They're the ones we can rely on when times are tough, when we need a helping hand, when we need someone to lean on. They're the ones who will be there for us no matter what. When we change, who are we? When we change, we're still kind, we're still honest, we're still compassionate, we're still empathetic, we're still brave, we're still creative, we're still loving. At our core, we're still us. Research shows that our character is fairly stable after age 30. There are certain personality traits that remain consistent throughout our lives. For example, extroversion. If you're outgoing and sociable now, chances are you always have been. Or maybe you used to be really shy, but now you're more confident, you're more comfortable around people. But underneath it all, you're still that same person. So as we grow, as we change, as we evolve, there are some things that remain constant. There is a thread that runs through our entire lives. It connects our past to our present and our future. And that thread is who we are, our identity. We're more than the roles we play, more than the labels we're given, more than the things we own, more than our appearance. We're more than what we do. We're more than what we've done. We're more than our mistakes. We're more than our trauma. We're more than the wounds in our past. We're the sum of our experiences, our joys and our sorrows, our triumphs and our failures, our hopes and our dreams. You might think that getting older means losing yourself, but I think it means finding yourself. As we age, we learn more about the world, and we learn more about ourselves. We become more confident in who we are. We become more comfortable in our own skin. We become more accepting of ourselves and others. We become more resilient in the face of adversity. We become more compassionate and empathetic towards others. We become more patient and understanding. We become more appreciative of the little things in life. We learn that the pursuit of happiness isn't about achieving a certain level of success or accumulating certain things. It's about finding joy in the journey. It's about savoring every moment, good and bad. It's about embracing the present. It's about being grateful for what we have. It's about living life to the fullest. As we age, we lose people. We lose our parents, our friends, our partners. But with each loss, we gain wisdom. We learn that life is too short to hold on to grudges. We learn that it's better to give than to receive. We learn that the most important things in life aren't things at all. We learn that love is the only thing that matters. So who we are is constant. Maybe it's not everything we have, but it's something. And that's enough.